John again with our Ventures Today. Last year we purchased our Tiffin Wayfarer and we made 2 trips out west, out to Montana and then back. And then Sari says, let's go to the Grand Canyon. So off we went to the Grand Canyon and back through the Rocky Mountains, by the way. Well, we boondocked one time, and that one time we found out that those lead batteries that's in our RV, they just didn't cut it. So we upgrading to now lithium batteries. Now, I'm not a professional, I'm not an electrician, I'm not an RV technician, I'm just a retired Marine, but I want to be able to show you how I did it in our RV to upgrade to lithium. Here's a tip of the day. Before you do any type of maintenance on really anything, take a picture of what you're going to be taking. That way there, you know how to put it back together. Just the tip of the day.
Now, I'm not a mechanic, but my dad was, and he always told me, he says, son, before you mess with electrical components in a vehicle, you make sure you disconnect the battery first. So that is the first thing we're going to do in this project. You see, all it takes is one little spark. Just let it arc. And these computer systems that's in these vehicles, it'll ruin them. It can absolutely ruin them. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to disconnect the chassis battery. And Mercedes has made this so simple in these Sprinters. You simply remove the cap that's right next to your pedals, and it's going to expose a metal rod. On that metal rod is a black cap with a red button. You simply press the red button and pull it away, and it's going to disconnect your chassis battery. That way there you don't have to worry about an arc that can ruin your computer system in your vehicle.
Another piece of advice when it comes to doing anything with your batteries, when it comes to your RV, if it has a battery shutoff switch, you need to turn that off. And what that is, it takes from the battery the power that's going inside the RV. So you want to turn that off, because as you're dealing with this, any type of surge could actually do damage down the line. So in this RV, it's actually located, I'm going to show you here, I'm going to flip this thing around real quick and show you where it's located at. Stuck up underneath here. There's a switch here that you can actually take it and flip that switch up. In my case, it is a little button here that you can flip up. It's yellow. You heard that click? Listen to it. I'm going to turn it back, reset it. Now listen to this. I'm going to take a little yellow lever. You can't see it from down there. Maybe I can get down here and maybe get a better look. No, I really can't. Not without really mess this up. But you click it. Hear that? Do it one more time. Listen. There's a yellow lever, and you click it up. Now what that just did, that just turned the power off from the batteries into the house. That way there you're not worried about messing up anything inside of the house. Okay? Now, what we've got right here is we've got our negative that we've taken our nuts off, and now we're going to end up take off the post, and then we'll do the same thing with our positive. Now, since these batteries run in parallel, you have these jumper wires. You notice there's the red being the positive, black being negative. We removed those and set them off to the side. Once again, we took a picture of this before we started, so we know where each cable is going to go when we put the new batteries in place. Now it's time to remove the holders there. That's what we use our 11mm wrench for. We're going to remove each one of those and take out these batteries.
Boy, that was heavy. That's just one. So let's get the first one here out of the way, and then we're going to move the other one out of the way. Well, when you compare these to the lithium, they sure make a big difference. These are very, very heavy. Believe it or not, about 2 months ago, I took these batteries out, cleaned this. So for 2 months, this is the actual happens within 2 months. I mean, I had cleaned this really, really well. So we're going to clean it again. What I always recommend is just use a little bit of like soda, like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, something like that, and just use a little bit of that, pour it on there with a rack, and just clean it up. Doing this, I'll put on some gloves for it, just for safety reasons, but I'm going to clean that up before we end up replacing these batteries. Since it's now nice and clean, as you notice, it does need some touch up. And since we have the batteries out, now is a good time to hit it with some type of Rust-Oleum paint. And it just so happens I have some in the garage, some Rust-Oleum Ultra Matte Black paint. So what we're going to do is we're going to spray this down and let it dry before we put our batteries in. Since we have our batteries out and we've cleaned up the inside, we put some Rust-Oleum paint just to make it nice and pretty and protect it from any other type of corrosion. While we're waiting for that to dry, it's a good time, anytime really, that you take your batteries out. One thing of your maintenance is you want to make sure that you clean your terminal ends. Any of your wires that you have, like these are the jumper wires, any of these you need to clean because you have it apart. It's a good time just to clean them. So what I typically do, I just take some fine sandpaper, usually keep some around the garage or whatever, and you just take it and just scrub it. Just rub it back and forth because you really want to make sure that that connection is really, really good. Any bit of corrosion that can be in there could actually lower the amount of power that you're getting out of your batteries, or even to charge the batteries. So you just want to make sure that your terminals are good and clean. With new batteries, the terminals are already clean, but all of your connection, all of these, just take a little sandpaper. It's a good time to do it. Anyway, I'm waiting for the paint to dry. I don't have anything else to do, so I might as well clean these, right? Good. So here's our box, nicely painted. It's all dried up. You notice though that the wires, the tips of them, how we've cleaned them all up. So the inside of the box is nice and clean, and it's ready for its new batteries. So we just put our first battery in place. I want to show you real quick. They come with little plastic caps that you just take the caps and they just pop off. Some of them pop off a little easier than others. And then we're going to have a set of screws, actually the little bolts that go onto here in the package with the little caps. So we're going to take those as we mount our cables to the battery. We'll end up putting this in place. But before we get to this, let's go ahead and get the second battery in place. Okay, here's a quick rundown of the installed batteries. If you notice, these cross members we were actually able to use from the old batteries. But unlike the lead batteries, these lithium batteries have a smooth top. So there is nothing for it to wedge to keep it from sliding. So what we did was we installed these, didn't put them too tight because really we're using these to keep them from lifting up. Now from sliding, if you notice down here, we just took some wood wedges and put them in place. And we found that really holds them nice and tight. I mean, it really does. I'm really impressed with it. But also I want you to remember that when we went to reinstall our batteries, first of all, we had a picture and we started with our positive. We started with our positive first, and after we connected our positive, then we connected our negative. As we went along, Remember the little caps that were on the batteries themselves? As we went along, we would pop a cap and we would do it. That way there, everything is in order. Batteries are in, they look good, but we're not done yet. There are two other things that we need to do. One is we need to change the settings on our house charger and change the setting on our solar panel charger. So let me show you what we did with those. We found a very simple solution in changing the settings on our house charger from lead acid batteries over to lithium. And it's located right here on this jumper right here. That little black box. What it is that there are 3 prongs there. There's prong 1, prong 2, and prong 3. What we're going to do is we're going to take that little black box and we're going to lift it off prong 1 and 2 and simply move that over to prong 2 and 3. It is going to change this from the lead acid battery over to a lithium setting. Just that simple. When I first heard about jumpers, I'm looking for a wire or something like a battery where you have a big wire that moves from one to another. But that's not so. This is very simple. Let me show you. Let me get down here and show you. You see there to the left, it has the Wiz, W-I-Z. Well, prong 1 and 2 is Wiz, and Li is lithium. So what we're going to do is we're going to just take that little black box, we're going to lift it up, move it over, and slide it back down. Just that simple. Simply, all we did was we took that little black box, which is a jumper, and we moved it from prong 1 and 2 over to 2 and 3, changing the setting of our house charger from a lead acid battery over to lithium. Sorry for the shakiness of this video, but I wanted to get a close-up shot of how we change the settings on our solar panel. If you notice there, it says flooded. So we're going to change that. So we hold down the B button and it starts to flash, and then we let go of it and we hold it down again and it goes over to LFP. Oop, I went a little bit too far. Anyway, just keep going over and I'm going to get over to LFP. LFP is actually your lithium. Once you see it flashing, just hold down the A button until it stops. Once it stops, that's it. You've now changed your solar panels over from lead acid battery over to lithium. Just that simple. And that concludes us converting over from lead acid battery over to lithium.
We finally finished up our lithium upgrades to our Tiffin Wayfarer and ready to head out west and do some boondocking, something we couldn't do last year. Well, if you're an RVer and you've done modifications to your rig that helps you be able to boondock, please comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. And for those that do not have an RV, comment down below as well. We'd love to hear from you. Remember, hit the like and subscribe button. Once again, this is John with Our Adventures Today, and we'll see you on our next adventure.